Remember that movie, What's Love Got to Do with It? About the singer Tina Turner and her abusive relationship with her husband and manager, Ike Turner. Well, America is Ike Turner, and the rest of the world is Tina, especially the global South. In the beginning in that film, Ike Turner is this cool, handsome, charismatic man, business savvy, charming, with some degree of talent. But he sees much greater talent and potential in Tina Turner. And so he parasitically leeches off of her talent, giving himself a status and a lifestyle that he could never achieve on his own. And of course, he does this through manipulation, bullying, abuse, and violence. Well, that's America to a T. The talent, potential, and of course, the resources of the global South have made America and the West in general rich. And it's made them have a status and a lifestyle that they could have never achieved on their own. And they have used manipulation, bullying, abuse, and wholesale violence to maintain their control and their access to those resources and talent. And just like in the film, Tina Turner starts off with a high opinion of Ike, just like the global South used to have a high opinion of of America and the West. They believed that they were civilized and advanced, efficient, talented, savvy, and so on, cool and charismatic. There's a tremendous amount of goodwill towards the United States and towards the West, in spite of the continuous abuse and domineering control. Just like a battered wife who tells herself that her monster of a husband actually means well, that he has a good heart, that he loves her, tells herself that the abuse is probably her fault. It's because of her own shortcomings and her own failures. She brought it upon herself. And of course, she tells herself that he will change. And he tells her that too. Well, the global South has been telling themselves this for decades, all of this. Because again, just like in an abusive relationship, America knows how to say the right things. They know how to play with our emotions, how to push our buttons, how to manipulate their way out of accountability for battering, abusing, and terrorizing everyone in the world. But again, just like in the film, how Tina Turner eventually gets fed up and recognizes and acknowledges what a monster Ike actually is, then she leaves him. And that's what the global South is doing right now. We are witnessing and living through that divorce. And just like it was for her, and just like it is for any abused wife escaping an abusive husband, it's a dangerous thing to do. But the fear is gone. And once the fear is gone, the power is gone, the mystique is gone. Because everyone is realizing that the mystique actually only continued to have any influence because it was backed by the threat of violence. We were convincing ourselves that the brutality of the West, of the United States, was out of character. But finally, the whole world can see that no, it isn't out of character. Brutality is their defining characteristic. Now no one sees any charm. No one sees any sophistication. No one sees any charisma. All the hype has evaporated and everyone can see what they really are. It's an undeveloped, dysfunctional society, a narcissistic society that is insecure, dependent, needy, pathologically deceitful, jealous, and immature. Anything and everything that was ever appealing or attractive has wasted away. And when they try to use the same lines that worked in the beginning, and they try to use the same bullying tactics that worked in the beginning, after everyone can see what they really are, well, it's just pathetic. America has become a twitching alcoholic who can barely mumble a coherent sentence. They still have their hangers-on, their entourage of countries that sniff the vapors of the West's glory days. Just like how in a divorce, there's the friends of the couple get split up between the spouses. And those people still talk to each other like they're still on top. But when America tries to throw their weight around, there's a distinct and palpable sense that they're reminiscing, because everyone knows it's over. Like, for example, when America tries to gaslight and manipulate the world into thinking that China is going to attack Taiwan. This only works when you can keep people completely shut off from the outside world. The same way, again, that an abusive husband tries to control who his wife can speak to because he wants to ensure that he is her only source of information about the world. That's the only way he can protect his lies. Once she gets away from him and she starts talking to other people, she realizes that he had painted a completely different picture that bears no resemblance to reality. just as a control tactic. Well, America might well believe that China will attack Taiwan because attacking is the only thing that they understand. Because again, all of the even semi-decent qualities that they used to have evaporated, like diplomacy, negotiation, soft power, and so on. So now nothing is left in their minds but violence. But China doesn't operate like that. Nobody operates like that. For everyone else in the world, besides America and besides the Zionists that America supports, war and violence are genuinely the last resort, not the first reflex. And you won't hear anyone talking about a Chinese invasion of Taiwan except America and Americans. Nobody in the region believes that for a second. No one poses a military threat to Taiwan except America. If anything violent happens in the region, everyone is going to know who the perpetrator is. It will be Ike. It'll be America, like it always is. Like I've said before, they've lost the global south. And they're even losing many of their own people because, yes, they are abusive and bullying towards their own citizens. And while many of their citizens may still suffer from essentially battered wife syndrome, and they still believe everything that the government and the mainstream media tells them, there is an increasing number of people who have woken up. And one of the main causes of their awakening has been Gaza. And I believe that you would see a lot of support among Americans for invoking Article 6 against the United States and having America expelled from the United Nations. Because America has used the values and principles to manipulate people, but many people sincerely hold those values and principles. And they feel ashamed and angry and betrayed by their own country, and with good reason. Many people are deciding that their affiliation and their loyalty is to those values and principles and not to a country and to a government that blatantly and persistently violates those values and principles. So there are many people in the United States and across the West who feel in their hearts that they identify with the global south. And they feel solidarity with the global south. And they feel solidarity with the Palestinians. More than any hollow, shallow, unjustifiable sense of nostalgic patriotism. They're realizing that any sort of patriotism constitutes love for a country that doesn't exist, that never existed. A theoretical country, a theoretical society, but not one that ever actually existed in practice. And holding on to their love for that theoretical society makes them love any society or any country or any people who genuinely are dedicated to those sorts of values and principles in practice that America only ever talked about in theory. It's just, again, like an abusive wife who continues to love the concept of the man who she thought her husband was, but realized that her husband is not that man. So she still hopes that such a man might exist, or that someone at least trying to be such a man exists, and she moves on. And many Americans and many Westerners are moving on. And they're looking for anyone in the world who actually lives by the values that America claims to live by but doesn't. And yes, obviously, this is a big part of why so many people are coming to Islam, because they're leaving the counterfeit for the real thing.
Comment if you agree, or not, or just have any thoughts on this expression. Please avoid abusive use of language and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thank you.